Hey everybody, it's Memphis J here from Black and Tan Media, and I got some SUAS news you can use. I'm glad you're checking this out. This is the very first one, and I hope to do some more of these, so let me know if you enjoy it in the comments. Like and subscribe for more. So there's been a lot of stuff happening in the unmanned aerial systems news. Gonna jump right into it. We got a story from Fortune.com. This is one that's been seeing a lot of talk around some of the groups I'm in that deal with unmanned aerial systems, and this might be the first drone-related aircraft crash. So, it is reported that a drone caused a helicopter to go down. Crash landing in South Carolina may have been triggered by a civilian drone. This past Wednesday, a student pilot and an instructor, both of whom told investigators that a small drone appeared directly in front of them. And the Charleston police report says the instructor took over the controls, attempted to avoid a collision. The tail of the helicopter hit a tree or bush. So neither the pilot nor the student was injured, thankfully, though the helicopter tail appeared to have significant damage. It went down about 2 p.m. The FAA didn't confirm the possible role of the drone. The NTSB is aware of initial reports that a drone may have been involved in the crash and is gathering information on the case. Spokesman Chris O'Neill said Thursday. So the accident investigation is the second incident involving drone in less than a week. So while they bring that up, I'm going to jump over to that. That's questions remain after a drone collides with a helicopter on Kauai. So a blue Hawaiian helicopter was flying along the Nai coast Friday afternoon, and a white drone hit the helicopter mid-flight. Thankfully, I don't believe the helicopter went down, but you know, the FAA says in this article you absolutely have to give right-of-way to a manned aircraft. So if you didn't know that, you should have. You got to move out of the way of a plane or a helicopter. If you don't know, never mind. State statutes outline some severe penalties. $100 for a first offense, $200 for a second offense, $5 for a third, as well as fines for up to $2,500 to $10,000. So that's just Hawaii alone. We're going to talk a little bit more about stupid decisions in drones towards the end of this. You know, this is a perfect time to say, if you're not up to date on your laws and how they pertain to you, where you live and where you fly, you really should look into it. That's part of the reason I'm doing this news broadcast and breaking it down, is to help people that may be new to this hobby or business. I hope if you've got your Part 107, you know where you can fly and where you can't. But again, I'm going to try to not talk too much about what I think with this program. I'm just going to drop the news on you. So there it is, man. I don't really know if I completely believe the helicopter pilot. There's a lot of people kind of doubting it, but I'm going to remain out of really breaking it down until a little bit more information comes out of this. It is really scary to see two helicopters deal with these. Coming from a drone pilot's perspective, I definitely think helicopters are some of the most serious things we need to concern ourselves with as SUAS pilots. Always going to be, you know, potentially in our airspace because of the nature of the craft. So those two, I hate to break down those kind of stories, but we're going to keep it moving with another stupid story, unfortunately. You can watch some video of a drone lose control and crash into Apple Park's solar roof. So if you know, Apple's building a spaceship campus, I guess they call it, and they're getting pretty close to done. But anyway, a drone operator by the last name of an unknown operator contacted this guy Roberts and wanted him to fly over the Apple campus to see if he could find the drone that he had flown and had fallen. Basically, when I was trying to track down the story on it, is that apparently as he was flying it, it just fell out of the sky. I know one story I read talked that for months now, Apple has already hired a company that's sole purpose is to make sure that drones don't fly over their campus. So if it just fell out of the sky, accepting some type of a battery or a craft malfunction, I would think there's the potential that Apple took the drone down. I don't know that. It's just a guess. It has been speculated it's possible. So, again, I'm going to try to stick to the facts here. But yeah, somebody was trying to check out the Apple campus and crashed their Phantom, I believe. Anyway, moving on. BGE, that's Baltimore Gas and Electric, has recently partnered to test an autonomous drone inspection system in Maryland. So, the company better known as BGE is working with Aero Labs out of Pennsylvania to make a system owned by parent company Exelon. According to a blog from Aero Labs, February test flying a DJI Matrice 210 to inspect power lines in an area of Maryland. The test area presented various configurations. Even with temperatures in the 20 and 15 plus mile per hour winds, the Matrice held its own, flew quite well on its programmed flight path. Yeah, if you didn't know, they've been doing that, and I know there's a lot of pilots out there that are already involved in that, but to know that they're already starting to fly themselves is kind of interesting, so I thought I would include that. Just for a kind of weird one here, Samsung has patented a flying screen that could be used for hovering video. You know, it goes back to 2016. It describes a drone-like device with a screen capable of streaming video, for example, broadcast television, but it could also be used to do all kinds of stuff, hovering advertisements. But it is pretty interesting. It's supposed to have things that might allow it to follow your eyesight and fly around depending upon where you were. So the idea is some people have floated by would be that maybe you could, you know, do your chores and your screen would just float in front of your screen. Your screen would just float in front of your face. But I don't know. Kind of interesting. You can look to the web for some more information on that. I'm not going to break it down too much here. Going around the world for a little bit of drone news, let's head to Africa, South Africa, and a tourist has been banned for life for flying his drone over a park in South Africa. So they don't really name where the tourist was from or very much about him, but apparently a tourist at Kruger National Park, it's in northeast South Africa, has been banned for life. Banned for life. But yeah, UAS News breaks it down that visitors at the park, it's one of Africa's most expansive game reserves. The visitors took photos of the pilot as he left his car to use the drone, and then ultimately the police there just had to wait at the park exit. You know, when the car passed by, employees of the national park were there as he pulled out, and basically he explained he didn't go through the permit rules. He was not aware of the ban on drones inside the park. So when questioned by the officials, he claimed he was eager to capture some wildlife imagery. Unfortunately for him, he was still issued a permanent ban. This is something where you should always educate yourself on the local laws. There are apps out there that I'm pretty sure apps that cover the whole world that could help you figure out stuff like that. But, you know, especially if you're traveling, you need to be really careful. The last thing you'd want to do is get in some legal trouble or lose your bird or any myriad of things. So, one other interesting story. In Puerto Rico's mountains, drones are being used to restore power. As you can see, these drones here are lifting off and carrying line, and basically what they are doing is flying from one mountain to another, and they would take a line, attach it. Once it's connected, then they would pull another line that's a little bit stronger from one side to the other. Then they would pull the electrical wires across there. So in the past this was done by helicopters, but they weren't exactly available, and they're probably a whole lot more expensive. So, you know, this is something that showcases how helpful drones can be. We've seen drones recently help swimmers spot sharks off the coast, and we've seen lifeguards drop life preservers to stranded victims in the surf, getting pulled out to sea. There are tons of ways that drones can really, really help. So, I'm excited to see and share more of those stories as they come along. A lot of this news tonight has just been breaking down kind of bad news, and I really hate giving out bad news because it really worries me. I'll give my last little opinion as a plan on how I break down the ends of these. You know, there's a lot of talk about enforcement lately, and in next week's news we're going to talk a little bit more about the numbers on enforcement and how much the FAA is enforcing the Part 107 regulations, as well as other drone regulations, as well as other SUAS regulations. But for now, let's just think about some of the things that we've looked at today. Potentially a helicopter brought down by a drone, a helicopter hit by a drone. We've had a small passenger craft in Canada hit by a drone, as well as a military helicopter hit by a drone, all within the last 6 or 7 months, I believe. So that's pretty scary. That means that a lot of people are out there flying in places where they either shouldn't be, or they're not paying attention, or they just don't care. And the more we have of that, the more we're going to see regulations and laws, and it's only going to make it harder and harder. If we could keep it at a federal level instead of a patchwork of state laws and local ordinances, we're all going to be better off. So please, quad pilots out there, remote pilots, drone operators, fly with respect and, do the right thing. It's going to be the next year, the next couple of years that really determine where this industry goes and what people think of it. Anyway, thanks for checking out this very first SUAS News You Can Use weekly wrap-up from Black and Tan Media. We're going to head out sharing something you could find on YouTube. This is from China. Some pretty cool stuff. So this is Black and Tan Media. Memphis J signing out. Thanks for checking out this news. If you see some news that you'd like us to feature next week, drop us a comment, send us a message. Check us out, blackandtanmedia.net. Like and subscribe to support the channel. And hope to see you back here next week checking out some more news. Thanks.